All right, folks, Apple Cup. We're about 16 and a half hours away. Biggest Apple Cup in recent memory. I can't remember the last time the Apple Cup meant this much. Washington Huskies traveling to Pullman to play the Washington State Cougars. The Pac-12 North is on the line. The Pac-12 is on the line. A playoff spot is on the line. I mean, wow. It's great that this game actually really means something now. I remember this was not even 10 years ago where I think the Huskies were 0-11 going into the Apple Cup, and the Cougars were like 2-9, and it was just a game where the Huskies were trying to not go winless, and I think we lost in overtime. I can't remember exactly, but there have been some bad days in this rivalry, and it looks like we're back. So, the Cougars, 2 months ago, they looked like they were headed towards a, dumpster fire. They were going to fire Mike Leach. They were going to get rid of their athletic director. They were going to get rid of everything and everybody and just hit the complete reset button, and it was going to be kind of like what we had to do 5, 6, 7 years ago. But these guys turned it around, and they played great the last 2 months or so, even a little more than that, actually. They blew out Stanford. They blew out Oregon, although that may not be an achievement at this point. They blew out Arizona. They blew out California. They handled their business against... They found ways to win tough games against teams like UCLA and Arizona State. Not the best teams in the world, but those are the kinds of games that if you watch those games, they proved something by finding a way to win those games the way they did. And they're 8-3. They had the opportunity to go play for the Pac-12 title if they win this game and they win the Pac-12 championship game, of course. And it's all about the offense, but their defense has secretly not been that bad lately. They have maybe the best passing attack in college football. Luke Falk has close to 4,000 yards passing. I think they average something like 380 passing yards per game. I mean, it is an air raid assault that you can't really stop. You just have to contain it. Defense, secretly not playing that bad. They give up 26 points a game about, which is in the upper half across the nation, which it's not good, but it's more than good enough for this team to be formidable. They held Stanford to 16 points. They held Arizona to 7 points. They've had a couple of bad games here and there. They've given up some stuff, but when you play football the way the Cougars offense plays, you're going to give up some points every now and then just because. And if you wipe out those first 2 games against Eastern Washington and Boise State, where they kind of did embarrass themselves, they've been one of the best teams in the country this season. They're coming off a loss, but it was a very respectable loss. Colorado, a top 10 team in Colorado, no shame in that. They dropped a 38-24, which kind of wrecked whatever tiny chances they had of getting into the playoff themselves, but they still have a lot to play for. So they're going to come into this game taking everything very seriously because they are coming off that loss. We can't count on them, coming in on cloud 9, just feeling so great about themselves and just thinking like, oh, we're just going to take care of this and nobody can stop us right now. That's not the Washington State we're going to be getting tomorrow. So, this game, offensively, we need the good Jake Browning to show up. If the good Jake Browning shows up, this offense can score against anybody, and it can sure as hell score against the Cougars. But last 2 weeks, we saw it. That first quarter against Arizona State, Jake Browning played bad, and the team, that game almost got into a dangerous place, and then he bounced back in the second quarter and going forward, and everything was fine. USC, bad Jake Browning, kind of got beat up a little bit in that game. They basically controlled the entire game because our offense never got anything going. So it's just up to him. And if it wasn't for what I saw in the USC game, I'd be like, oh yeah, good Jake Browning's going to show up. Good Jake Browning showed up all season. I can't say that right now because we've seen bad Jake Browning the last two games, in part at least. So that part of it, you still have to feel confident that this Husky offense is going to put up some points. But god damn, if you are not worried about this defense right now. We're playing the number 2 passing offense in college football. It is right up there with the best of them. I know their offense isn't balanced, but their passing attack is as good as any passing attack in the nation. And we don't have Joe Mathis. I don't think we have Victor Azim. And that's your leading linebacker and your leading edge rusher right there. It's tough to handle these guys no matter what you got, but you're taking away 2 of your best defensive players. That's brutal. That was part of the problem against USC, and you better believe it's going to be a problem tomorrow, win or lose. This Cougars team is going to put up some points. I'm sure of it. I thought Arizona State was going to, and they kind of didn't. But I sure as shit this Cougars team is going to do some damage on offense. I'm worried about our pass rush. I'm worried about the tackling. Both things have been not less than great. Mainly, I'm just focused on that damn USC game. And I know it's just one game and you should be able to put it out of your head, but I can't help it. That was, in large part, the team that we have without Joe Mathis and Victor Azim. And it's going to be a big problem tomorrow against this specific team. Yeah, we can still stop the run, but the Cougars barely run the ball. They average about 130 rushing yards a game, one of the worst totals in the nation. This is all about our pass defense against their pass offense. And look, I love our secondary. Kevin King, Sidney, Gardenshire, who's actually going to be transferring to another university now because he's not a starter. Buda Baker, I mean, those guys, they're doing everything they can. Even when they mess up every now and then, it does happen. They're doing everything they can. They're having a phenomenal season. This is about the pass rush. And it's going to be a high-scoring game, and I don't feel safe about anything. Now, we're favored. We have a team that has played better so far this season. We are a more balanced, well-rounded team, and we should be expected to win, but they're going to be a problem for us. If we build a big lead in this game, Wazoo will come back if they get the ball enough times. If we get into a shootout against these guys, they're going to keep up because that's the kind of offensive talent that they have right now. A lot on the line. If we win, and we win the Pac-12 championship game, because we'll be getting into that for sure if we win this game, it's right there. I mean, the playoff is going to be right there for us. We should get in, but this is going to be tough. We're going to learn a lot about these guys. And I guess we should win, but I can already see it in my head. Luke Falk having 400 passing yards in this game and it just being a shootout, 45-42, 51-48, and you just hope that you're the team that comes out on top because a lot of times games like this come down to who has the ball last. And that has nothing to do with how good or how bad your team is. That just comes down to game flow. All right, guys. I'm happy that the team has put themselves in this position where this game means so much. I feel like we can win this game. I feel like we're the better team, but we have to go out there and prove it. This is probably... I know USC is the better team right now than Wazoo, probably, but if you pull all the different variables together, this is probably the toughest challenge we've had this season. And look, the bright side is if we win this game, we know we deserve everything. But the downside is it's going to be real tough. All right, I'll make a video after the game tomorrow. Should be done around 4 o'clock my time. And hopefully I'll be talking about a Pac-12 championship game against, I guess it'll be probably USC or maybe Colorado. But get it done. See you guys later.